boys and girls, Mr. D is back. When you're done watching this video, you will be able to solve a system of linear equations by graphing. Sounds a little bit like a mouthful there, a little bit confusing with the jargon we're using there, but to just simplify what that really means, solve a system of linear equations by graphing. We're going to find the point of intersection between two lines by looking at their graphs. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Here's our first example. It says find the solution to the system of equations by graphing. This is our system of equations. Okay, and we're going to do it by graphing. So we should be able to recognize the format of these two equations. These are slope-intercept formats, so they should be relatively easy to graph. And that's our first main step here, is to graph the equation, graph each equation. Okay, so if we do that, let's plug in some numbers here for x and for y. Let's plug in some 0, we'll plug in 1, and we'll plug in -1 for our x values. If we plug in 0 for x, we know this y value, because our y-intercept is 4 here. We'll do that. Plug in 1, you're going to get 2. And when we plug in -1, we're going to get 6. Okay. Alright, so that figures out the first equation. Let's take a look at the second equation. We'll do the same x values, just because they're easy to plug in, easy to work with. Why don't you press pause in the video, and I'd like you to work out these three numbers on your own. Okay, make sure you show me the work on your paper. I'll be looking for that in class tomorrow. You should also work these numbers out as well. I went through these in my head, but please plug in, show the work for these, pause the video, and plug in and show the work for these. Okay, so now we're back here. Hopefully you've done that work. That's our y-intercept there. This should be 2, and this one should be -4. Okay, so now we're just going to go and we'll plot these points. So in order to do so, 0, 4, okay, 1, 2, and -1, 6 right up here. And then make a line. We'll do our best line possible here. Something like that, alright? Let's plug in our other points. So 0, -1, 1, 2, -1, -4. And we'll stay with our green motif here. Pretty good. I got it through all three there. That one's got arrows on the end of it. My red line does not have arrows on the end of it, so I'll put some arrows on the end of that one for you guys. Alright, and then if you look, the last thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that I circle the point of intersection, or highlight the point of intersection. You can see it's right here. It's easy to identify here. They both happen to have the same point in common when we look at the chart. 1, 2. Okay? So that's our point of intersection. That's the solution in this case. 1, 2. Okay? Let's take a look at another example. Example 2. Find the graph to the system of equations. Find the solution to the system of equations by graphing. Okay, so here, if you look, these equations are in standard form. We have x and y on the same side of the equation. No need to panic. Those are just as easy to graph, if not easier. Plug in 0 for x, 0 for y, and we'll find our intercept. So again, press pause, and please find the intercepts for this first equation. Okay, and here you go. You can see I plugged in here. We get when x is 0, y is -2.5. When y is 0, x is 5. And we just plugged in 0 for x here, solve for y, plug in 0 for y, and solve for x up there, and that's what we got. Okay, let's take a look at this second equation. And again, I'd like you to press pause in the video. And you'll do the work on your own again. Plug in 0 for x, plug in 0 for y. And this is old Chapter 5 stuff. If you're not familiar how to do this, you need to go back to your notes in Chapter 5 or rewatch the videos in standard form from Chapter 5. Okay, so press pause and do the work. Okay, so here we go. When x is 0, y is 3. When y is 0, x is 6. So now what we're going to do is we'll go to our graph and we'll plot those points. Okay, so x is 0, y is negative 2.5. And when x is 5, y is 0. Okay, so there we go with that. Sorry, wrong color there. There we go, that's what we want. Close enough. Sorry, guys. Alright, get the idea there. Let's take a look at our next point. When x is 0, y is 3. And when x is 6, y is 0. So we're out here. Okay, so even though my line here, this first line that I drew, is not the most accurate line, you could still, again, you could tell where that point of intersection is. Make sure we circle or highlight that point of intersection. It's right here. And again, if I was going to approximate it, I don't know. It looks like roughly maybe x is 5.5, and y is we'll say 1/2. That's an approximation. And again, that leads me to my point here. When we solve systems of equations by graphing, it's not necessarily the most accurate as far as obtaining a point like we have here. It does give us a snapshot, a view of it. However, again, sometimes it's difficult for us to get an exact location, and we'll get into some methods to get exact locations in the next couple sections. But for now, the first introduction method for solving systems of equations or finding points of intersections for equations of lines is through graphing. Alright, so hopefully this video was helpful. We'll do some more practice on this in class. See you then.